If someone heard the way you talk to yourself in your own head, they would probably call the police. Think about that for a second. The things you say to yourself, the names you call yourself, the harsh judgments you make about every tiny mistake. If you heard someone talking to another person that way, you would be horrified. Yet you accept this level of cruelty from your own inner voice every single day. Here's what most people don't realize. That cruel voice isn't actually you, and you don't have to live with it forever. In this video, I'm going to show you where that brutal inner critic comes from, why it's so relentless, and most importantly, the specific techniques that actually work to change it. Not just manage it or cope with it, but fundamentally transform your relationship with yourself. Because no one should have to live with a bully inside their own head. Let's fix this. Part 1. The voice that destroys. First, let's talk about what we're actually dealing with here. This is something called chatter, and it's one of the biggest problems we face as humans. We spend between 1/3 and 1/2 of our waking hours not living in the present moment. We're lost in our heads, talking to ourselves. And for many of us, that conversation is absolutely brutal. Your inner voice, when it's working properly, is supposed to be an incredible tool. It helps you plan for the future, simulate conversations, control impulses, and create a narrative about who you are. But when that inner voice turns dark, when it becomes chatter, everything changes. Instead of solving problems, you ruminate. Instead of preparing, you catastrophize. Instead of being helpful, that voice becomes a relentless critic that weaponizes your deepest insecurities against you. What makes this particularly cruel is that this bully has unlimited access. It knows every shameful memory, every failure, exactly what to say to hurt you most because it's been studying you your entire life. Unlike a real bully you can walk away from, this one lives inside your head. It wakes up with you. It's there when you're trying to fall asleep. It commentates on everything you do. The consequences go way beyond just feeling bad. Chatter destroys your ability to focus because it consumes your attention. It damages your relationships because you become irritable and can't really listen to others when drowning in mental noise. And, perhaps most seriously, it creates chronic stress that literally damages your physical health. When you experience something stressful and then it ends, your stress response should come back down. But chatter keeps replaying that event over and over, keeping your stress hormones chronically elevated. Over time, this predicts cardiovascular disease, chronic inflammation, weakened immune system, even cancer. Your cruel air voice isn't just making you miserable, it's actually making you sick. And if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to boop the like button and subscribe to see more videos like this. Part 2. Where the cruel voice came from. Here's something that'll blow your mind. That voice you think is yours? It's not. That cruel inner critic is actually an accumulation of all the hurtful, negative comments you heard growing up, especially from parents, family members, teachers, and bullies. When you were a child and someone told you that you were stupid, weird, too sensitive, selfish, or not good enough, your young brain didn't have the ability to say, that's just their opinion and it's wrong. You absorbed it as truth. You internalized it. Those external voices became your internal voice. If your parents were very hard on you, constantly criticizing, rarely praising, making you feel like you were never good enough, you learned to treat yourself that way. If you had undiagnosed anxiety or depression as a kid, and adults labeled you weird or dramatic instead of getting you help, you internalized the message that something is fundamentally wrong with you. If you were bullied and adults told you to toughen up, you learned that your pain doesn't matter. Every time you made a small mistake and someone lashed out disproportionately, you learned that mistakes are catastrophic and unforgivable. All of that criticism got downloaded into your brain and became the soundtrack of your life. This is why when you try to set a boundary, that inner voice calls you selfish, using the exact same word your parents used. This is why when you make a tiny mistake, the voice is vicious, because that's how the adults around you reacted. The voice isn't you, it's them. It's the accumulated weight of everyone who was supposed to teach you kindness, but instead taught you cruelty. Once you understand this, everything changes. You can recognize when that voice is being too hard on you because it's not your authentic voice. It's an old recording playing on repeat, and old recordings can be changed. Part 3. The best friend technique. The most powerful question you can ask yourself when that cruel voice starts up is this: would I ever talk to my best friend this way? Seriously, imagine your best friend comes to you and tells you they messed up at work, or they're struggling, or they got rejected. Would you say, "You're such a pathetic loser, you're worthless, you always mess everything up"? Of course you wouldn't. You would be kind, understanding, remind them of their strengths, tell them everyone makes mistakes and this doesn't define them. So why don't you give yourself that same compassion? Here's how to actually use this technique in real time. The cruel voice says something like, "You're so stupid, you can't do anything right." Immediately pause and imagine your best friend just said that he is stupid and can't do anything right. What would you tell them? You'd probably say, "Hey, you made one mistake. That doesn't make you stupid. You've succeeded at so many things. This is just a learning opportunity. I believe in you." Now say that exact thing to yourself, out loud if you're alone or silently if you're in public. This isn't about toxic positivity where you pretend problems don't exist. If your best friend actually did mess something up, you wouldn't lie and say it's perfect, but you also wouldn't verbally abuse them. You'd help them problem solve. You'd be on their team. That's what you need to become for yourself, your own teammate, your own supporter, your own advocate. When you consistently treat yourself like you would treat your best friend, something remarkable happens. That cruel voice gets quieter because you're no longer feeding it. You're creating a new voice, a kind voice, a compassionate voice. And the more you practice, the stronger that kind voice becomes, until it becomes your default. Part 4. The writing exercise. There's a powerful exercise that helps when your inner chatter gets so loud and harsh you can't make it stop. Sit down with paper or open a document on your computer and write down every single horrible thing that voice is saying to you. Don't filter it, don't soften it. Write the actual brutal words. You are a waste of oxygen. You are disgusting and unlovable. You're a failure. Nobody actually likes you. You're stupid and incompetent. Write it all down, as bluntly as the voice says it. This is going to feel awful, but stay with me because this is where the healing happens. Once you have that complete list, take a breath. Now you're going to read through it with new eyes. Pretend someone else wrote this list and handed it to you. Try to view it objectively, almost like a neutral observer. For each terrible statement, write a counterstatement based on actual evidence. Next to "you are disgusting and unlovable," write, "Many people in my life love me and appreciate me. I can name them. Mom, sister, friend Sarah. People have found me attractive before. I remember when that person complimented me. I felt attractive when I wore that outfit I really liked." Next to "you are a complete failure," write, "I have succeeded at many things. I graduated school. I have a job. I learned to drive. I have friends who value me. I've overcome challenges before." The key is to be specific. Don't just write vague positives. Think back to actual moments where you felt good about yourself. Recall specific compliments you've received from people you trust. Remember times you succeeded at something or overcame a difficulty. When you're done with your counter list, read it several times. Let it sink in. This exercise works because you're externalizing the cruel voice, seeing how absurd and unfair it is, and then systematically dismantling each attack with truth. The cruel voice thrives in the shadows of your mind where you don't examine what it's actually saying. When you pull it out into the light and look at it objectively, you realize most of what it says is either completely false or a massive distortion of reality. Part 5. Practical tools that work. Beyond these major techniques, here are some quick practical tools you can use when chatter strikes. First, label it. When toxic chatter starts, immediately name it. Say to yourself, "This is chatter." Labeling it creates distance and often reduces its power. Second, use physical anchors. Put your hand on your heart and feel it beating. This grounds you in the present moment. The chatter lives in your head about past failures or future fears. Your heartbeat is happening right now and reminds you that's what's real. Third, actively insert positive thoughts. Don't just try to stop negative thoughts. Introduce a positive thought to replace it. Consciously redirect to something you're grateful for or looking forward to. Your mind can't subtract, but you can add so much positive that it crowds out the negative. That voice in your head that tells you you're worthless, that you're not good enough, that you're fundamentally flawed, it's not your voice. It's a collection of every harsh word, every criticism, every moment of rejection you've experienced, all internalized and playing on repeat. But just because it's been there for years doesn't mean it has to stay. You can change it. Treat yourself like you would treat your best friend. Write down the cruel words and counter them with evidence. Use labeling, rituals, physical anchors, and perspective shifts. You are not weak for having a cruel inner voice. You're human, and you're also incredibly strong for deciding to change it. Start today with just one technique. The next time that voice attacks you, pause and ask, what would I say to my best friend right now? Then say that to yourself instead. You deserve the same kindness you give to others. You've got this.